MeMonster.
Chapter 6. When I woke up the next day, everything was the same. Whew! I let out a sigh from deep within my chest. It had been quite a while since I quit smoking, but for the first time since my party was wiped out on the 80th floor, when I lost all my money, I had a strong urge to light up a cigarette. I accepted it. No more childish antics. This place was the world of Pick Me Up, and I had been summoned as a one-star hero from the start. My stats were pathetic compared to Shay's. I was a novice class with no basics whatsoever. I didn't even have any skills. That was my current state. As I scrubbed the pot with a soapy sponge, I pondered. What kind of game is Pick Me Up? If someone were summoned as a hero in Pick Me Up with the game rules applied, how could they survive? There are two ways for heroes to disappear, dying in battle or vanishing through synthesis. And I was a one-star. What did it mean to be a one-star hero in Pick Me Up? To most masters, a one-star is expendable. And not just any expendable, but the lowest of the low. They have poor basic stats, their growth rate is extremely low, and on top of that, they get debuffed easily, and their combat power decreases. The same situation applies in other mobile games. Characters obtained from free draws are treated the same way. I swallowed hard. Suddenly, I found a piece of paper and a pen in my hand, something I found in the drawer next to the bed. I didn't know why such things were in the room, but if I could use them, I would use them to the fullest. Objective. I scribbled the word on the paper. For now, this is my objective. There's no need for anything fancy. Just survive in this world. And I have to set specific goals. If something like this happened in another mobile game, I would have given up. The growth rate of the characters is predetermined, and their skills are fixed. No matter how hard I tried, I wouldn't be able to break free from my fate. But Pick Me Up is different. Depending on the nurturing method and the hero's personal abilities, even a one-star by birth can become a hero that surpasses a 5-star. It's because of the unique potential assigned to each hero. In addition to the visible status window, there are other abilities that exist. They are not displayed as numerical values and must be grasped by the master while observing battles. Even if they start with the same star and abilities, completely different heroes are born. Therefore, to become a master of Pick Me Up, you need a discerning eye to choose the promising saplings. The pen continued to write. Goal: become stronger. I have to become stronger. Survival, revenge, and returning are all impossible if I don't become strong. It's not just physical strength. I have to change mentally as well. I can't survive with the same indifferent mindset I had on Earth. I don't know how things will unfold from here on. If I continue to be surprised and act haphazardly like yesterday, will I be able to survive? No. If I can't adapt, I'll die. If I can't change, I'll be devoured. I have experienced such situations before. I may be just an ordinary young man like anyone else, but it was different in the past. During my childhood, I remembered the annoyed gaze of the orphanage director when he looked at me. At that time, I had nothing. No parents, relatives, or friends. Everyone was an enemy, and I was alone. I climbed up from the bottom. I treated life like a battle just to live the same life as others. It's okay. I'm used to irrationality. The important thing is to calmly assess the situation and accept it. The absurd fact that I have fallen into the world of the game I used to enjoy. In this situation, I can't trust anyone. The only one I can trust is myself. After eating the ramen, I headed to the square. The square was still empty. Isal, are you there?" I shouted. After a while, a small fairy appeared in the air. Why are you calling me again? I'm busy, you know," she said, complaining, but she still showed up. "No matter how much you ask, I won't tell you anything. If you're curious, climb the tower. The answers are there at the top. Well, of course, a trashy one-star like you won't make it to the top." Isel laughed, clutching her stomach. I didn't get angry. After I had finally cleared my mind today, I noticed this little one's level. Isel. Level 257. At level 257, she was at the level of a late-game boss on the 80th floor. I have a question. I won't tell you. Is this status window only visible to me? Status window. Isel fluttered her wings and circled around in the air. The level 257 floating above your head? Huh, you can see it too? It's not even public information. Annoying. Her reaction confirmed the game's messages are visible only to me. Maybe because our worlds got mixed up? Anyway, that person did something really annoying. Mom, what am I saying? I shouldn't say this. Isel looked around and then quickly fled. Our worlds got mixed up. It doesn't matter. Equipment window. Han Israt.
1 star. Main weapon, none. Subweapon, none. Armor, none. Accessory, none. As expected. The iron sword I used in the tutorial was a supply item automatically given to heroes without weapons. Shay, being a 4-star, had a basic weapon and armor. Good. I clenched my fist. Even though I'm a 1-star, I obtained a special ability that others don't have. I can observe my own status from the perspective of the master. It will be a great help in the path ahead. I won't be defeated. Absolutely. I made up my mind once again. But what if the master stops logging in like this? Yesterday's incident was no ordinary mistake. He synthesized a 4-star with a 1-star. The probability of getting a 4-star from a paid summon is about 1%. That poor guy threw it away with one control mistake, which comes in 100 tries. Since Pick Me Up is linked to the phone, restarting was impossible. Don't dwell on negative thoughts. I can think about that when the time comes. There's no need to waste mental strength on an unexpected event. I immediately locked myself in the room and started scribbling on paper. There were notebooks and pens overflowing in the drawer. If I thought I needed something, it would appear even if it wasn't there before. What I'm creating is a strategy guide. I write down and organize all the information about Pick Me Up that I remember, so I won't forget even as time passes. A week passed like that. Master Anything, welcome to Pick Me Up. A cheerful sound accompanied the hologram window that appeared. I jumped up from my chair. Loading is complete. Touch Select. Special event for new masters. 100 gems per day for 10 days. A total of 1,000 gems for you. Special items available only for new masters. You can purchase the new package. For only 65,000 won, you'll get 5,000 gems and 300,000 gold. I'm the Strategy King. Visit our official cafe. Notices and ongoing events were listed one after another. I knew most of the events by heart, but there were some that I didn't remember. The notices were quickly skipped. During the tutorial, I was too busy to read them, but now it's different. I need to know what kind of player the master is to develop a survival strategy, whether they are a free-to-play user or a paying user, whether they are a casual player or a hardcore player. I focused on the system messages. Master, please check your tutorial rewards. Obtained 500 gems, 200,000 gold. With 500 gems, he can get 1 paid draw, and with 200,000 gold, 20 free draws. Pop-up. Would you like to purchase the new package for 65,000 won? No. Not buying it, huh? At least for now, he might be a free-to-play user. He might still be considering the budget. It would have been great if I could see the actual game screen, not just the system messages, but unfortunately that feature was not provided. Now, what is he going to do? In the current situation, I'm the only hero. In that case, the master's task in this situation is undoubtedly Hero Summon. Summon heroes with gold or gems. Try summoning the heroes summoned by the Mobius sermon. Infinite heroes. My ass. If my hypothesis is correct, the Mobius sermon and the unique artificial intelligence of the heroes are all fake. I could only realize that after actually falling into the game. Advanced Summon. Perform an advanced hero summon. 1 summon, 500 gems.
10 summons, 5,000 gems. Regular summon. Perform a regular hero summon. 1 summon, 10,000 gold. 10 summons, 100,000 gold. As expected, anything touched the summoning altar. It was only natural. Unless you're a lunatic, you can't progress through stages with just one 1-star hero. The top is the paid summon, using gems, and the bottom is the free summon, using gold. Anything chose the free summon. Master Anything started a 10 consecutive summon. I'm excited to see what heroes will appear. Tak tak. Doo-doo-doo-doo. There we go. Common. Master Anything has acquired the hero Lyle, 1 star. Common. Master Anything has acquired the hero Greet, 1 star. Uncommon. Master Anything has acquired the hero Momont, 2 stars. Common. Master Anything. A total of 10 messages appeared. The summoning was over. I started counting numbers slowly in my mind, from 1 to 100. While counting the numbers, I calmed my mind. No matter what happens outside, I won't get excited. I won't panic. After finishing counting, I went to the square. The summoning altar was open, and 10 people, men and women, were gathered near the entrance of the summoning altar. They huddled together in a corner of the square, looking bewildered. Where are we? Is this a dream? Oh, we were just in harvest season. Did we get dragged here by a magician? Are we going to turn into experimental tools? Stop talking nonsense. Although they differed in age, gender, and appearance, they had a few things in common. First, they had the same race, probably of Caucasian descent. Second, they spoke the same language. It wasn't Japanese or Chinese. It wasn't Spanish or French either. It was a language similar to English, but with a different feel, and I could understand its content. I might even be able to speak it. And lastly, the third thing, they were all humans. Well, it's fate that we've met like this. Let's introduce ourselves first. A middle-aged man with a well-groomed beard stepped forward. He was wearing a leather tunic and worn-out pants. He gestured to me, who was standing a little far away. Come over here, too. I walked through the crowd. A red-haired girl with long hair pointed at the summoning altar's door and shouted, This brother, he came from the other door, not from that door. He's different from us. He might know something. Is that true? Yes, I saw it. She's mischievous. I said, I'm the same as you. I came from that door. The people immediately started whispering among themselves. Chapter 7. The middle-aged man stepped forward, trying to calm everyone down. For starters, one thing is certain. None of us, including you, know anything about this place. By sharing what we each know, we might obtain valuable information. Shall we start with introductions? Does anyone have a different opinion? The people remained silent. The man smiled, satisfied, and began speaking. Let me introduce myself first. I'm Lyle, 34 years old. I run a carpentry shop in Edora. I have a wife and 2 daughters. As for why I'm here, I'm sorry, but I don't remember. Next, will you introduce yourself? I'm Gret. I'm 32. I used to be a street vendor in Halcia. I don't know why I came here either. People started introducing themselves, going clockwise around the circle. Their ages and occupations varied. Merchants, loggers, carpenters, blacksmiths, coachmen, hunters, butchers. They introduced themselves as practitioners of long-lost professions. They were dressed in rough clothing made of leather and fabric, and they spoke names and terms I had never heard before. Isel mentioned that I was from Townia. I didn't know the reason, but the clothes I was wearing when I arrived here weren't sweatpants, but similar to theirs. Anyway, my expectations were correct. These people are not from Earth. They seemed to be natives of the continent Isel called Townia. There are humans there, too, but their civilization seems to be much more backward compared to Earth. Among the 11 of us, I was the only one from Earth. The introductions of the people gathered in the square were over. Through their introductions, all we could gather was the fact that they knew nothing. Lyle asked multiple times if anyone remembered how they came here, but no one, including himself, had any knowledge. "This is embarrassing." Lyle stroked his beard and wore a troubled expression. But as if saying, "When did that ever happen?" he clapped his hands together and revived the atmosphere among the people. "Shall we start by looking around this place? It could be dangerous to wander alone, so let's pair up into groups of 4, 3 and 3. "What are you saying, old man?" As expected, she appeared. Isel sprinkled stardust as she circled above us. Since the master seems to be opening a rift in space-time, get ready for a fight. Or something. You? I'm Isel, the fairy who manages this place. Don't complain if you don't want to get hurt. Suddenly, a man stepped forward. I squinted my eyes. His name was Molmond. He's the only one among us with 2 stars. He said he used to be a mercenary. He wore worn leather armor and had a proper sword at his waist. "Status," I muttered while looking at Molmond. Molmond Carl, 2 stars. Level 1. XP 0 out of 10. Class Novice. Strength 14 out of 14. Intelligence 10 out of 10. Stamina 12 out of 12. Dexterity 12 out of 12. Skills: Novice Swordsmanship Level 1. His initial stats weren't bad. His intelligence, which is useless for anyone but a mage, was 10. Compared to the 1-star characters who start with all stats at 10, he was much better. Moment stepped forward and spoke. "Are you the one who brought us here? Who do you think you are doing whatever you want?" Swish! The sharp sound of metal scraping made everyone hold their breath. Moment drew his sword and aimed it at Isel. "Don't do it. You'll regret it." "I'll wipe you out." Moment let out a battle cry as he thrust his sword. It was a thrust filled with considerable momentum. Isel suddenly smirked, and his head exploded. Moment, 2 stars, has returned to the embrace of the goddess. His determination will be remembered forever. Instant death. Sign: suicide due to stress. Tips: heroes can become tired, fall into depression, or panic. Reduce their stress levels. Provide resting places and toys for your heroes. It can prevent unexpected deaths. Thud. Molman's headless body collapsed. "Yeah, what the hell is this? He's dead! He's dead! What is this?" "If you don't want to die, don't complain, okay? If you touch me, you'll be minced meat. It's self-defense. Got it?" Isel flicked her right hand, and droplets of blood scattered. With those fern-like hands, she smashed the head of an adult man in an instant. Suicide due to stress? Does that look like suicide to you? Some people with weak stomachs vomited and collapsed. I felt nauseous too. There was a human corpse right in front of me. I couldn't help but grit my teeth. I desperately tried to regain my crumbling sanity. Form a party. Drag and drop your heroes. Lyle, 1 star, has joined Party 1. Ranto, 1 star, has joined Party 1. Marlin, 1 star, has joined Party 1. Kelkeld, 1 star, has joined Party 1. Jackson, 1 star, has joined Party 1. It started. Open. Rift of space-time. The door at the front of the square creaked open. What's happening? What is this? Calm down, calm down. First, calm down this fairy. So, why did you call us? If you want something, just tell us. Lyle stuttered as he asked Isel. What do I want? Listen to me. Fight well, win well. That's it. Easy, right? Well, what should we do then? Step forward if your name is called Lyle, Ranto, Marlin, Kelkeld, Jackson. What if we don't want to? If you want to be like that guy, don't come out. Isel pointed to the headless corpse. The 5 of them reluctantly managed to step forward. Now, stand in order. See that door over there? Go inside. Wait a minute. I spoke up. You again? What now? Of course, you want to climb the tower too, don't you? Isel's expression crumpled. It looked like she was about to burst into laughter. If not, there would have been no need for her to get angry when the master lost Shay. She might have even scoffed. So, what if I do? As the master, draw weapons too. We're all 1-star heroes. We don't even have basic weapons. You don't plan on sending a suicide squad. Well, fine, wait a minute. Isel disappeared with a poof. Master, the heroes don't have equipment. Before embarking on the adventure, would you like to summon equipment for smoother battles? Tips. Heroes without weapons enter battles wielding worn iron swords F. If you place equipment in the armory, heroes will equip them automatically. Of course, you can always specify the weapons you want to give. Prepare the equipment. Don't forget. Another assumption came true. Isel could interfere with the system messages. Following Isel's guidance, anything entered the summoning station and started summoning right away. Summon equipment. Summoning items. 1-time summon, 5,000 gold. 10-time summon, 50,000 gold. Master, starting the 10 consecutive equipment summoning. Clack, clack, clack. Rattle. Master Anything has acquired an iron sword E+. Master Anything has acquired a crude bow E-. Master Anything has acquired... Lyle approached me. So, your hand, right? Do you know anything about this place?
I haven't been here for long, so I don't know much either. It's dangerous to say something if you're not sure. So, everyone. I pointed to the open armory door. It's better for you to get weapons from there. The fight will start soon. What's starting? A battle. Who? Battle? You say battle? If you don't like it, you can stay there. Various weapons were stuck in the old display cabinets. They were the ones Anything obtained from the 10 consecutive equipment summons. Iron swords, bows, maces, and spears. They were various types. Not long after, people began to flock to the armory. "Can we choose weapons from here?" a middle-aged woman asked me anxiously. I nodded. I don't know anything about fighting. I've never fought before, even when I was young. Just choose. Choose and think later. This one's mine. With cheers, 9 people started rummaging through the armory. The highest grade weapon seemed to be that one. I looked at the mace that Lyle was holding. The end of the mace had an iron ball with spikes on it. Morning Star. Grade D+. When our eyes met, Lyle trembled. It seems like he thought I would take it from him. I smiled and turned away. Don't worry, I'm not taking it. I picked up the equipment from a corner of the armory. Crude wooden shield. Grade E+. It's here. I was worried about what to do if it didn't come out. When levels and stars are low and heroes are not accustomed to battle, what equipment increases survivability the most is a shield. It was one of the tips I learned when raising sets of 1-star characters. Those who held shields had the highest chances of survival. I got its item from the armory. It's time to start. Isel bounced around in the square. Everyone grabbed their own equipment and came out of the armory. The corpse of Molmont, along with the blood and debris, had disappeared cleanly from the square. What happened here? Could it be a miracle? Too noisy. Didn't I call your names earlier? Lyle, Ranto, Marlin, Kelkeld, Jackson. The 5 of you. Enter through that door, execute. The 5 named individuals hesitated, but entered the door. As Isel followed them inside, the door slammed shut. Silence. The other four stood still. I sat near the tear in space-time, examining my shield, checking if it was broken or had any holes, making sure it could effectively block enemy attacks. No issues. It was a crude wooden shield, but it should be able to handle goblin swords or arrows without much trouble. "How will things go for us, big brother?" A girl holding a bow approached me. She had long red hair and freckles. She was a head shorter than me, and her skin was tanned brown. "I don't know." "What will happen to us? Why do we need weapons? Where is this place? What is that fairy?" She fired questions at me in rapid succession. That's why I tried to pretend not to know. My interference earlier wasn't for their sake. It was to increase my own chances of survival. Molmont, who was a professional mercenary, had died, and the remaining four didn't seem like they would fight well. Gale, the old cart driver, who had driven a cart all her life, Gret, the peddler, who claimed to have never fought with anyone, Dajil, a chubby man who doubted whether he could even run fast, and this arrogant girl, Jenna. So this is why they're 1 star. If luck was against us, we might die on the first floor. I gave a vague answer. "We will soon enter the battlefield. We just have to defeat the enemies there. As for the rest, I don't know either, so think for yourselves." The battlefield? I closed my mouth. Jenna kept pestering me with more questions, but I didn't respond. Eventually, she gave up and leaned against the wall, sitting down. "Marlin, 1 star, has returned to the embrace of the goddess. Her determination will be remembered forever." She's already dead. Monsters that come out on the 10th or lower floors are at most goblins. I wanted to see a battle scene, but the footage didn't appear. The system only reported the results of the battles. Kelkelt, 1 star, has returned to the embrace of the goddess. Her determination will be remembered forever. Ranto, 1 star, has returned to the embrace of the goddess. Her determination will be remembered forever. I couldn't help but stand up from my seat. Could it really be that we will be wiped out on the first floor? "What's happening? What's going on?" Jenna asked. "Stay quiet." Jackson, 1 star, has returned to the embrace of the goddess. Her determination will be remembered forever. Lyle, 1 star, has returned to the embrace of the goddess. Her determination will be remembered forever. Party 1 has been annihilated. You lose. That useless brat. Isel, who appeared in the square, stomped her feet. Her face was contorted with anger. I was also a bit dumbfounded. It's not easy to be wiped out on the first floor. Maybe it's because of the rare heroes that everyone obtains for free. If Shay were here, she would have handled everything alone. Form a party. Drag and drop heroes. Han, 1 star, joins Party 1. Jenna, 1 star, joins Party 1. Dajil, 1 star, joins Party 1. Gret, 1 star, joins Party 1. Gale, 1 star, joins Party 1. 6 out of 11 heroes died, and 5 remained. At this point, the master had 3 choices. First, use the 500 gems obtained as tutorial rewards for premium summons. A 3-star or higher hero would come out, and with their abilities, the first floor could be cleared easily. Second, purchase a training facility with 500 gems and strengthen the heroes before deploying them. Third, simply use the remaining 1-star heroes. Open the Rift of Space-Time. It seems like the third option is the way to go.
Chapter 8. Han, Jenna, Dajil, Greet, and Gael had arrived. "Why haven't the people who left come back?" Dajil mumbled. Gael, who was lying down and groaning, spoke up. "Listen, noble fairy, I have arthritis and I can't walk anymore. Please exclude me." "Arthritis? You've been walking just fine," Jenna shouted. "What am I supposed to do if it suddenly starts hurting?" I shrugged my shoulders and entered through the door at the front of the square. Inside was a spacious circular room with towering mirrors, each more than 10 meters tall. Information about the dungeon appeared above the mirrors. Main dungeon, current climbing floor, 0. A daily changing feast of dungeons. Weekday dungeon, access denied, clear main dungeon, 5th floor. Collect various rare materials. Exploration dungeon, access denied, clear main dungeon, 10th floor. Except for the mirror on the left, the other 2 mirrors were pitch black. So that's how it is. The feeling of looking down as a master and looking up as a hero, there's a world of difference. It's okay. I can do it. I can't die in a place like this without knowing the reason. That determination alone chilled my rationality. Shortly after, the other party members entered through the rift in space. "I have arthritis. Just come for now. We'll live and die together," Jenna encouraged. "Noisy, it's noisy. Be quiet and get ready." "Well, what should we prepare for? I've never even held a spear." Main dungeon, current challenge floor, is 1st floor. The door will open in 10 seconds. Get ready. I surveyed the party members behind me. Jenna and Gael kept quarreling. Dajil was covered in sweat, and Greta was trembling in a corner. Isn't there anyone useful here? I let out a sigh. The mirror on the left began to shine. The light grew stronger, obscuring my vision and covering the entire room. What is this light? Don't be overwhelmed. It's starting, I shouted. It was a message to the party members, but also to myself. In this world, there's no one to rely on except me. If I lose my composure, it's over. I kept saying it to myself like brainwashing. When the light subsided, I found myself in an unfamiliar place. Floor 1. Mission type, subjection. Objective, annihilate the enemy. A gentle breeze blew across an endlessly vast plain that stretched beyond the horizon. Wait, where is this? Where else could it be? It's a battlefield. I tapped my shield with the old iron sword. 4 goblins were gathering about 10 meters away. They wore iron helmets and wielded bent swords. Even one had a sling. 4 level 3 goblins. They had leveled up by 2 since the tutorial. The eyes of the goblins that noticed us glowed red. I told you before, if we don't fight, we'll be wiped out, so get your act together. As I spoke, I looked back. No one was there. Damn it! Jenna, 1 star, feels fear. All stats decreased by 30%. Dajil, 1 star, feels fear. All stats decreased by 30%. Greta, 1 star, feels fear. All stats decreased by 30%. Gael, 1 star, feels fear. All stats decreased by 30%. They were running around in panic, not knowing whether to move forward or backward. Gael, who claimed to have arthritis, was the fastest. I had anticipated it, but I didn't expect them to be this useless. Gael stumbled at the edge of the field and fell down. The 3 others followed suit. Ouch! My back! Why is it stopping us? Open up! Let me out! I need to go to the bathroom! Dajil, 1 star, falls into panic. All stats decreased by 50%. Greta, 1 star, falls into panic. All stats decreased by 50%. Gael, 1 star, falls into despair. All stats decreased by 80%. They cowered in a corner with no intention of fighting the goblins. Dajil swung his axe at the wall, but his wrist gave way and he collapsed. Greta struck the wall with her spear, and Gael must have pulled his back because he couldn't get up. Only Jenna came back, panting heavily. Brother, if we defeat those goblins, can we leave? Her pumpkin-colored eyes trembled and cold sweat beaded on her forehead. But Jenna firmly grasped her bow. You know how to shoot a bow? My father was a hunter. I'll go out and fight, and you shoot from behind. Can you do it? Yes. Dajil, 1 star, falls into despair. All stats decreased by 80%. Greta, 1 star, falls into despair. All stats decreased by 80%. What about those people? Jenna looked back. Don't worry about them. They're of no help. Let's go. I gripped my shield and rushed forward.
I'd never used a shield, nor a sword, but I had to use them now. The goblins ran wildly, charging towards us. Rocks flew through the air. I raised the shield to my face. A heavy impact resonated from my left hand. If not for the shield, I would have been hit. In the field of vision under the shield, a goblin swung its sword. Lowering the shield in my left hand to block, I thrust with the sword in my right hand. The goblin, with a deep gash on his arm, retreated. I took a few steps back and assessed the situation. Why is there only one of them?
The reason became clear soon. The other two goblins, excluding the one with the sling, were rushing towards our panicked party members. Even with the goblins approaching, the three of them couldn't regain their composure. "Uncle, let's fight! The monsters are coming!" Jenna, who had quickly loaded her bow, shot an arrow. The arrow grazed above the goblin's head. "Oh no, I missed!" Jenna took another arrow from her quiver, frustrated. "I told you not to worry about them." I decided to ignore them. But it was actually fortunate. Since those guys acted as bait, we could defeat the monsters individually. I charged at the goblin, gnashing my teeth with my arm clenched. I deflected a rock that came flying at me, blocked his sword with the iron sword, and then struck him with the shield. Yeah! The goblin fell face down with a thud. Good. I can do it. I can definitely do it. I plunged my sword into the fallen goblin's chest. Grr, grr. The goblin foamed at the mouth and dropped its head. Yeah! Dajil, 1 star, returns to the embrace of the goddess. His determination will be remembered. I didn't look back. One is still left. It's a ranged goblin spinning a sling. I held up my shield and charged. The goblin began slinging rocks. The rocks were blocked by the shield. Choosing the shield was indeed the right answer. Grete, 1 star, returns to the embrace of the goddess. Her determination will be remembered. From behind, I heard a desperate scream and a squelching sound. It was an unpleasant sound as if flesh was being torn apart. The goblin in front of me started running. "Where do you think you're running?" Kirrik! I tackled the fleeing goblin from behind. The goblin tried to hit my forehead with a rock. I blocked it with the shield. "Hail to the shield, you bastard!" I thrust the sword into the exposed ribcage. An unpleasant sensation of scraping against bone was transmitted. Ignoring it, I thrust it deeply. Once pulled out, I stabbed again. Thud, 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 thud. After doing that 4 times, I let go and the goblin crumbled like a wreck. Gale, 1 star, returns to the embrace of the goddess. His determination will be remembered. "Brother, what about the other 2 goblins?" I took care of one. On one side of the meadow, a goblin with an arrow stuck in the back of his head lay sprawled out. "But the others!" "We'll think about that later. He's coming our way. Come over here." A wild goblin ran towards Jenna. Jenna ran towards me with a scream. I rushed towards the goblin, shielding myself, and collided head-on. Clang! Blood gushed from the deeply wounded right arm. I dropped the iron sword in my right hand. Han, 1 star, starts bleeding. Stamina decreases periodically. I struck the goblin with the shield. Gah! This damned bastard! I struck the fallen goblin's face with the edge of the shield. Broken teeth and blood splattered. I struck again, and again, and again. After that, the goblin, who had been shaking his limbs, finally dropped his head, dead. Only then I sighed. "Brother, your arm!" "It will come back. I had already confirmed it during the tutorial. But it hurt damn badly. Blood spurted from a spring from the long torn wound on my right arm. I felt a bit dizzy, perhaps due to anemia. Stage cleared. Jenna, 1 star, leveled up. Rewards, 2,000 gold, 2 C-grade iron ores, 1 C-grade copper, and 1 C-grade leather. MVP, Han, 1 star. Light enveloped my entire body. I closed my eyes and opened them again. We were back in the circular room with the elongated mirrors, then walked out through the rift in space and time. 3 of them died. That's why they're only 1 star. Isel glanced at me and Jenna with a disdainful look. I checked my right arm. There wasn't a scratch to be found. The pain lingered, but even that gradually disappeared. As expected, even if it's right before death, returning to the waiting room restores everything. The same applied in the game. Let's return to the plaza. The doors are going to close soon. Isel pointed toward the open door. I walked steadily toward it, with Jenna following closely behind, looking anxious. The door closed. Congratulations on clearing the first floor. We're going up to the second floor. Creak, kurr. A strange mechanical sound echoed, and the floor of the plaza shook. What's happening? We're going up. Where? To the second floor. After a while, the vibration stopped. Now what's going to happen? Break through the second floor? No chance. He had seen the battle. He knows there was no chance to break to the third floor. Master, do you want to strengthen your power? Tips. Heroes that come from advanced summoning are stronger than regular heroes. Tips. You can build facilities like training grounds to train your heroes.
In this game, free-to-play users have two choices: either do a paid summon or build facilities. In the early stages, there was a debate between the hero summoning party, which used gems for summoning, and the infrastructure construction party, which used gems for building facilities. But after I personally compared and proved their efficiency in the forum, the dispute ended. Construct a facility. Please select the type of facility you want. You have selected training grounds. Do you want to build it? It will cost 500 gems. Yes? No. That's right. He hasn't completely ignored the game guide. The door to the locked training grounds had been opened. The training grounds have been completed. The heroes will now train themselves. Keep in mind that by enhancing the training grounds with gems, gold, and blueprints, you can enjoy a broader and more powerful effect. Tips. Continuous battles make heroes tired. They need proper rest to perform at their maximum potential. Useful tips. Continued. Master, do you want to end your session? Yes. Goodbye, then. Is this where it ends? Based on today's gameplay, Anything is a light free-to-play user with a focus on facilities. It was the type I had hoped for. There was no need to compete with expensive heroes plastered with stars, and there was a solid foundation for growth. Most free-to-play users usually hit their limits after reaching the top floors, but that's a later issue. Whew, I'm exhausted. Isel, who suddenly appeared, stretched her arms wide. Jenna asked in a trembling voice, "What's going to happen to us now?" "Whatever. Just rest until the master logs in. Since the training grounds are open now, you can train there if you want. The dormitory is over there. Go ahead and scatter as you please." "What about the others? Are they all dead?" "You're so clueless. Can't you see for yourself?" Jenna's complexion turned pale. "Why did you summon us? What's the purpose?" "You're as annoying as he is. If you want to know, climb the tower." "Was the tower you mentioned earlier the one we just climbed?" She shrugged her shoulders. "I already answered. We climb." I also wanted to know the answer. It seemed that as we cleared the main dungeon, the waiting room also ascended. I couldn't imagine what kind of strange structure it was, so I decided not to think too much about it. I'll just accept it as the way things are. Jenna clenched her fist and shouted angrily, "I'm going to rest!" "The dormitory is over there." I pointed to the room connected to our home. Jenna bravely headed there and slammed the door shut as she entered. "I have a question too. Why ask when you've only cleared the first floor? Is time here different from Earth? Don't ask questions I won't answer." It seems like it. If we assume that, the situation makes sense. Here, time in the waiting room flows faster than on Earth. I don't know the exact rate. That's something I'll have to find out gradually. And at the core of it all is the fairy Isel. The tips you gave him were helpful. Do the same next time. You're just a worthless one-star scrap.
Isel grumbled and vanished, stomping her feet. Just as I thought. The fairy can't touch me even if she doesn't like me. She can only touch me when it's a case of legitimate defense or when I disobey the master's command, I suppose. Let's learn these rules one by one. As I started walking toward the dormitory, I noticed my trembling hand. 9 of them died. Out of 11, a whopping 9. If I had made a mistake, I could have been among them. Calm down. If you can't adapt, you'll be left behind. That's the only law in this world. It took me nearly 1 hour to return to the dormitory. The current situation? 11 summoned, 9 dead, 2 survivors.
Chapter 9. The next morning, I stepped out into the square. Silence. The air was cool, and there was no one around. Where did she go? I clicked my tongue. After confirming that Jenna had gone to the dorm first, I followed her, but she was nowhere to be found. I was willing to compromise on the sofa, but not the bed. It didn't matter. She wasn't there anyway. The training camp was open. If I had trained my mind for the past week, now it was time to move my body. I walked into the training camp. Training camp level 1. Straw scarecrows stood here and there. On the corner shelves were practice weapons, wooden swords, spears, and shields. Other than that, it was empty, but for a level 1 training camp, it was impressive. I started running along the walls of the training camp. Breathe in lightly twice, exhale deeply once. It was a simple technique I learned in the military. I ran like that for 10 minutes. Running at a steady pace, my calves didn't hurt and I didn't feel short of breath. I opened the status window. Han Israt, 1 star, level 5, XP 44 out of 50. Class, Novice. Strength, 15 out of 15. Intelligence, 15 out of 15. Stamina, 15 out of 15. Agility, 15 out of 15. Skills, none. Pathetic. I frowned. The growth rate for each level was only 4. Why does intelligence keep increasing? It's a useless stat for a physical type. Still, my body in this world was clearly superior to my body on Earth. After my discharge from the military, I hardly exercised. I was always out of breath just climbing a few stairs because I always drove. I was a typical modern person lacking exercise. But now it felt like I had returned to my military days to strive for the top warrior. This world is different from Earth. The ramen on the shelf and the orange juice in the refrigerator would be replenished no matter how much you ate or drank. When you opened a drawer or closet after thinking about something, the item would appear. Of course, there were no K2Ss and AK-47s. The things you could get were everyday items like clothes, pencils, and toilet paper. After running for 30 minutes, my body still felt fine, so I started doing push-ups. Now I understood. Sometimes there are heroes who show different combat abilities from others, even though they're in the same grade. One thing they have in common, they don't neglect training. I didn't know this in the early days. Even though they trained, I thought their stats and levels wouldn't increase, so I wondered why they kept training so hard in the training camp. Still, I kept upgrading the facilities because I admired the effort the game characters put in. Looking back now, it seems they weren't just game characters. Their efforts paid off. As their level increased and their grade changed, they gradually stood out. I defined it as constitution. Building tall buildings requires a solid foundation. 1-star heroes start with basic stats of 10, strength 10, intelligence 10, stamina 10, agility 10. Whether it's a well-fed middle-aged woman or a grandfather who still works, their physical abilities would be the same. But the results are different. First, mentality. Heroes who easily fall into fear or panic are not worth the effort. The ability to remain calm in any situation and find a way to victory is essential. That's why the combat logic that makes this possible is recognized as an S-rank passive skill. Second, skills. The second criterion for distinguishing gemstones is skills. Some heroes are good with swords, others with spears. Each hero has a different talent for weapon skills.
Higher-ranking heroes are usually summoned with their talents already developed, while lower-ranking heroes are hidden, and the master has to help them find their hidden talents. I still didn't know my skills. I would have plenty of opportunities to find out. I decided not to be anxious. Third, physique. It's what I was working on now. So to summarize, mind, skills, physique. When these three elements come together, I'll have the competitiveness to stand against 5-star heroes. From experience, I know that heroes like that are real monsters. Once they have the mindset to improve, nothing can stop them. "What are you doing?" I heard a familiar voice. I stopped doing push-ups and stood up. At the entrance of the training camp, Jenna, with her red hair tied back, was looking at me. "Why are your tones so aggressive? And to think I've been looking for you since morning." Jenna grumbled as she entered the training camp. She fiddled with the longbow stored in the barrel. "Well, I've been thinking all night about what to do from now on. It's true that we can't leave this place, right?" I didn't answer. Jenna took out the longbow and pulled the bowstring. "Let me join in too. I'll be useful." "What can you do?" "Even though you know you're still being hostile." "Well, even if it looks like this, I'm good at shooting arrows. I won't be a hindrance. My father was a hunter, so shooting arrows in my spare time was a hobby."
Jenna grabbed a wooden arrow from the barrel and quickly shot it. With a soft pop, the arrow hit the scarecrow 10 meters away. Crying and complaining won't change the situation. I figured out this much. Hyung, you know how we can survive, right? Was yesterday your first real fight? Of course. I've been stuck at home. How well can you shoot a bow? Decently. Jenna shot another arrow. The same scarecrow. Another hit. Status window. Jenna Shirai 1 star, level 2, EXP 5 out of 20. Class, novice. Strength, 11 out of 11. Intelligence, 10 out of 10. Stamina, 11 out of 11. Agility, 12 out of 12. Skills, low-level archery, level 1. The growth rate was low at 4, but instead of intelligence, agility increased by 2 points. Moreover, she had a pre-existing skill for a 1-star hero. Among the 3 who ran away, she was the only one who returned. It was her first real battle, and although she was scared, she didn't panic and successfully shot and killed a goblin. There was no hesitation caused by the deaths, and she had a clear goal and knew what to do next. It was an opportunity. I recalled yesterday's battle. 3 people ran away, even though I handed them weapons. If the next ones are also the same cowards, can I handle the next stage? I need to survive before competing. I answered, "Fine, I'll help you. Please take care of me, Hyung." Jenna smiled and extended her hand. I shook her hand. Jenna 1 star feels favorably toward Han 1 star. A friendship bonus has been activated. Tips: when forming a party with friendly heroes, ability bonuses are given. Utilize this well. That's right, he was a great father, wasn't he? I explained the basic rules of Pick Me Up, the existence of a master who gives us orders. We have to subdue enemies and fulfill missions according to those orders. With each completed mission, the floor level increases, and when we reach the 100th floor, we might be liberated. We have to fight monsters all the time? That's why we train. We have to grow stronger. Besides training, there are various ways to become stronger, but at the current low floor level, most of the content is still locked. At this point, training is all I can do. Do we have to keep fighting alone? I also explained about summoning. The master summons humans from another world using gems and gold as currency. We were brought to this world through that summoning. People will continue to be summoned steadily, and we have to perform missions while sometimes competing and sometimes cooperating with them. I kept the world and my true identity hidden. Yes, I got it. Jenna nodded. Her expression wasn't particularly good, but she didn't openly show it. She was concealing her emotions. She didn't act like a child, and there were no signs of tantrums or misbehavior. She was calmly accepting the situation. She's reliable enough. We're in it together, right? We're in it together? What do you mean? If I die, you die. And if I die young, I'll die.
That's not it, but she was showing goodwill. I didn't explain about synthesis either, but maybe for another time. Anyway, the master would be back soon, and then the battle would begin. Until then, keep training. It's better than being idle. Yes. Jenna saluted and raised her longbow. Training resumed. There was nothing special about the training. It mainly involved physical conditioning and swinging swords at scarecrows or shooting arrows. But neither Jenna nor I were playing around. Our lives were at stake. After a day of training, the reason why I couldn't find Jenna in the dormitory was revealed. When I opened the door to the dormitory, a modern-style house appeared. But when Jenna opened the door, it revealed the interior of a quaint wooden house. When I asked Iselle about it, she replied, "Do you have any complaints? Be thankful you're not stuck in a barn." Since I had no complaints about my living conditions, I didn't argue with Jenna either. It seemed that the location changed depending on who opened the door. And so, on the third day of training, welcome to Pick Me Up. I stopped swinging my wooden sword. The straw-stuffed scarecrow was in tatters. Status window. Han Isret 1 star, level 5, EXP 44 out of 50. Class, novice. Strength, 15 out of 15. Intelligence, 15 out of 15. Stamina, 15 out of 15. Agility, 15 out of 15. Skills, low-level swordsmanship, level 1. Low-level shield techniques, level 1. I had acquired 2 skills, low-level swordsmanship and low-level shield techniques, which enhance sword and shield abilities. Jenna's low-level archery skill had increased to level 2. We did what we could. Get ready. The master is coming. Already? What do you mean already? It's been 3 days. We returned our weapons and went to the square. The equipment from the training camp couldn't be taken outside. Loading complete. Touch select. I am the strategy king. Check out the official cafe.
The announcements were skipped, and the master appeared on the main screen. I calculated the time ratio between Earth and the waiting room. If the master logs in here every day, 1 day on Earth is equivalent to 3 days here. The summoning gate opened. Summon. A party consists of 5 members. He will draw 3 times. Summoning heroes. Summon heroes using gold or gems. Try summoning the infinite heroes of Mobius. Summon. Master, summoning is starting. I'm excited to see which hero will come out. Whisk, whoosh, whoosh. Common. Master Anything has acquired hero Aaron 1 star. Common. Master Anything has acquired hero Toby 1 star. Common. Master Anything has acquired hero Yellen's 1 star. All 1-star heroes. A faint light seeped out from inside the summoning gate. After a moment, 3 men walked out with bewildered faces. Where is this? That's what I'm saying. Hey, mister, get ready to fight first. I'll teach you after it's over. You're talking about getting ready to fight? Who are you? Answer. Forming a party. Drag and drop heroes. Aaron 1 star joins party 1. Toby 1 star joins party 1. Yellen's 1 star joins party 1. Open. The rift of space and time. Creak. The front door opened. At the same time, the door to the armory opened. It was much faster than the previous round. The master was in a rush. Jenna, get your weapons before it's too late. Yes. We ran.
Chapter 10. The 3 newcomers looked at us as if we were crazy. The number of equipment displayed in the armory had significantly decreased. Only 2 items remained, a bow and a shield. In Pick Me Up, when a hero dies, the equipment they're carrying disappears. Jenna took the bow and quiver, strapping them to her back. I secured the leather strap of the wooden shield to my wrist. As soon as we equipped ourselves and stepped out, the armory door closed immediately. Iselle appeared and scolded us. Han, Jenna, Aaron, Toby, Yellens. Get here immediately. What is this thing? What do you want from us? Where'd you come from? Send us back. Jenna intervened. Stop it. You don't want to see what happens if you mess with her.
Are you part of the gang too? Did you bring us here? I'm not part of the gang. A few days ago, I was brought here just like you. That's why I adapted first. Why bother with this annoying stuff? They'll find out on their own in a few minutes anyway. After saying that, I walked into the rift of space and time. No matter how much Jenna and I explained, they wouldn't understand. Even if they did, they wouldn't accept it. Jenna, frustrated, sighed and followed me. Grumbling voices echoed behind us. My wife is waiting. Send me back quickly. I'm a poor farmer with not a single coin. You found the wrong person. I wondered how long Isel could endure. Jenna asked, Are they going to die? As long as they try to touch her. A while later, one of the men flew toward us like a projectile. He crashed to the ground, groaning in pain. The remaining two soon followed, also thrown by Isel. Finally, when Isel entered, the door to the square closed. From now on, if you don't want to be thrown like a bag of trash, listen carefully to what I say, just like those guys. The leftmost mirror began to shine. It was the mirror of the main dungeon. The master would probably send us to the second floor again. We could go back to the first floor, but there was no benefit at this point. As the light gradually filled the room, the other party members pounded on the exit, thinking they were going to die. Some even attacked Isel. How troublesome. Isel lightly soared upwards, avoiding their attacks, and then the room was filled with light. Floor 2. Mission type, subjugation. Objective, annihilate the enemies. Field type, plain. It was similar to a meadow, but subtly different. The grass was sparse and the ground sloped. Wolves, huh? 2 level 3 goblins and 2 level 4 plains wolves. 2 wolves with gray fur growled from the higher slope. Above them, goblins with slings picked up rocks. I furrowed my brows. Both the terrain and the enemy composition favored them. We were below and they were above. If it were just the wolves, it wouldn't be a problem, but there were long-range goblins as well. What's that? Aaron 1 star feels fear. All attributes decreased by 30%. Toby 1 star feels fear. All attributes decreased by 30%. Yellen's 1 star feels fear. All attributes decreased by 30%. I took a deep breath. Have ordinary humans ever encountered wild beasts like this? The wolves displayed their hostility without reservation. I caught a glimpse of their sharp fangs, ready to bite and tear apart human flesh. I steadied my trembling heart. They might look strong, but they're nothing special. I've had fighting experience, and I've become strong enough. Growl. Jenna 1 star feels fear. All attributes decreased by 30%. No, you shouldn't be like that. I tapped Jenna's shoulder. She was trembling, and it seemed she didn't see me reaching out for her. Suddenly, she let out a scream. Ah! Did she just scream? Sigh. What's wrong? Did you eat something bad? You scared me. Jenna pouted at me. But in the next moment, Jenna regained her composure. Jenna 1 star is no longer afraid. It's okay. I just need a moment. You take care of those 2 goblins. As long as I don't have to worry about rocks coming my way, I can handle the wolves by myself. Whoosh. A goblin threw a rock. It wasn't aimed at me, but at Jenna, who was rummaging through her quiver. I ran forward and deflected the rock with my shield. This will be the last time. Yes. When I glanced behind me, the other 3 were huddled together, trembling. They were truly useless. This time, they couldn't even serve as decoys. The enemies were clearly targeting me and Jenna. I bit my lip hard. I won't end up like those guys. I'll fight until the end and survive. Grrr. A wolf leaped with its jaws open. It was a quadrupedal creature, different from a human, with exceptional agility, but I anticipated this pattern. I thrust the old iron sword into the wolf's mouth. "Aren't you dead yet?" The wolf writhed in pain, but didn't die from a single blow. Even though the sword pierced through the roof of its mouth, it didn't seem to reach its brain. I tried to pull out the sword, but it got stuck in the bones. On the hilltop, another wolf paced back and forth.
Is it because the weapon is worn out? Before I could think further, the other wolf leaped forward. I pressed my body to the ground and rolled to the side. The terrain was sloped. The wolf's leap missed and hit empty air. As soon as I stood up, I rushed forward, kicked the wolf with the sword stuck in its mouth, then drew the sword out with all my might and struck its forehead. 1. Crunch. Crack. The wolf howled down the hill. Our positions were reversed. The wolf ran at me in a straight line. There was no need to back down. I rushed forward with my shield. As soon as we met, I slapped the shield against the wolf's cheek, then thrust the iron sword into its side. Gang! Gay gang! The wolf that had been writhing on the ground went limp. 2 down. What about the goblins? I looked up the hill. 2 goblins, turned into hedgehogs by arrows, lay sprawled on the ground. With a squelching sound, another arrow pierced one of the goblin corpses. That's enough. They're dead. Yes. Blood trickled down Jenna's forehead. It seemed she had been hit by a stone. Stage clear. Han 1 star, Jenna 1 star. Level up. Reward, 5,000 gold, 3 C-grade leathers, 1 C-grade iron ore. MVP, Han 1 star. We returned through the rift of space and time. Jenna touched the vanished wound on her forehead with a fascinated expression, while the other 3 were still in a daze. Congratulations on clearing the 2nd floor. Moving on to the 3rd floor. Thump, thump, thump. The waiting room vibrated. What just happened? One of the men mumbled in a bewildered voice. Iselle didn't appear. Maybe she was too fed up. I decided not to care either. Han is Rat 1 star, level 6. EXP 13 out of 50. Class, Novice. Strength, 17 out of 17. Intelligence, 14 out of 14. Stamina, 16 out of 16. Dexterity, 16 out of 16. Skills, Novice Swordsmanship, level 1. Novice Shield Techniques, level 1. Good. My intelligence decreased by 1, but my strength increased by 2. The overall growth rate remained at 4, but the efficiency of leveling up had improved. It was evident that my constitution was getting better. Master, do you want to end the session? Yes. Then goodbye. 1 floor per day. The master didn't rush through the progress. If we had simply pushed through like on the 1st floor, both Jenna and I would have been in danger. Although there were no visible injuries, fatigue lingered. I entered the armory, hung up the shield, and came outside. Jenna and the other 3 were arguing. Why were you just watching from behind? We were the only ones fighting. You should have let us know about the situation. What's what? I explained it from the beginning. Just fight. Why should I fight? Where the hell is this place? What are those monsters? And how did they drag us here with some kind of magic? That's not important right now. To survive, we have to fight first. We can think later. I've never even held a sword. How am I supposed to fight monsters? Who here has ever fought before? The argument grew more heated. Jenna argued that we were also summoned before to fight like we just did, and that we had to work together and combine our strengths to survive. However, the other 3 were indifferent. They stubbornly refused, saying they wouldn't do it. They couldn't accept reality. Now I understood why 1-star heroes were referred to as trash. 1-star heroes were ordinary people. They had lived lives unrelated to the battlefield. Just recalling their self-introductions during the 10 summoning, none of them had a profession related to combat. There was one exception, the 2-star Molmont. He was called a mercenary. If that's the case, it means that as the stars increase, combat-related professions are summoned. Moreover, advanced heroes don't hesitate. When you put newly summoned one-star heroes into battle, they would easily succumb to fear or panic. But it's different for 3 stars and above. They would immediately engage in combat. Do they come here knowing all this? The reason to fight and even the objective? Shay must have known. It was evident from her attitude. If I had been a bit more composed, I could have asked her. This is frustrating. Jenna went into the armory with determination and returned after putting away her bow. Wouldn't it be better if you helped explain this too, Hyung? We're in this fight together, so we should support and console each other to become comrades. Why should I bother with useless guys like them? It's better than having nothing. They won't be here soon anyway. What do you mean? Wait and see. Fighting doesn't always mean dying. If they remain in that state until the next battle, they will disappear. I looked at the closed door of the synthesis workshop. In the next battle, you and I will just keep fighting together. Don't worry about them. Jenna grumbled, but nodded. Oh, and I would like to visit your room. My room? I'm curious about what it's like. Why? Don't you want to? No, that's fine.
We passed through the center of the square and headed toward the lodging. Along the way, a man muttering to himself in a corner of the square approached us.
Hey, there's something I want to ask you.
Don't ask. It's annoying.
What did you say?
The man tried to grab me by the collar. I swung my fist and struck his face. The man staggered, clutching his bleeding nose. Are the guys who hid in a corner while we shed blood supposed to have that kind of attitude?
No,
I spat on the ground and moved on. The man whimpered, still holding his nose. What's so funny? Nothing. Jenna said, then opened the door to the lodging. The interior of the room, made of woven wood, was revealed. Furniture such as a dining table, chairs, and a display cabinet lined the room, and stones that emitted light were embedded in the walls. It didn't give off the air of modern civilization, and there was no refrigerator or gas stove. Lodging Level 1. It was a lodging. Strictly speaking, this place was more of a lodging for heroes rather than Jenna's house. In other words, those 3 pathetic individuals would also be staying here. But why is my room different? I couldn't figure it out right now. I decided to think about it later. What do you want to eat? We only have potatoes. Only potatoes? Potatoes with salt and water, perhaps. It's not much, but it will be replenished by tomorrow. That's all we have. In my room, I only have instant noodles and orange juice. Perhaps it's because the lodging level is low. Jenna took out a few potatoes from the display cabinet, pierced them with the skewer, and put them in the hearth in the middle of the room. While the potatoes were cooking, I explored the lodging. A long corridor stretched inward, with rooms arranged along the corridor. Currently, there weren't many rooms, and the facilities were mediocre, but as the lodging level increased, it would gradually become larger and more spacious. At the beginning of the game, you can have up to 20 heroes. You need to upgrade the lodging to summon more heroes. That's how the system in Pick Me Up is implemented here. I didn't expect it at first, but the potatoes were delicious.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video. Have a suggestion? Let me know in the comments.